So Michael Popok, Legal AF, a California man who has threatened to kill Fani Willis, the Fulton County DA prosecuting Donald Trump, has been indicted for making interstate threats to a public official. He's now been arrested and has had his first appearance in California. He will be extradited and have his arraignment in the Northern District of Georgia Federal Court. This was brought by the Northern District of Georgia U.S. Attorney's Office as part of the Department of Justice. Now, this is not the first time Fani Willis has had death threats against her. She frequently, as reported, wears a bulletproof vest. She has people from the Sheriff's Department in Fulton County that escort her and her employees to and from work. Many of them are armed, including her staff. That is what the world has come to when you indict Donald Trump and 18 co-conspirators to try to overthrow election, including through force. This is unfortunately the job that Fani Willis has now as the Fulton County DA, with a target on her back. And then you have people like Mark Schultz of Chula Vista, California, age 66, who is now an indicted future felon. He posted on live stream on YouTube on more than one occasion that he wanted and would kill Fani Willis like a dog. And the Department of Justice, ultimately led by Merrick Garland, has stepped forward, of course, to try to protect all people in public service, all people in the court system, judges, prosecutors, and the like, from having assassination threats or attempts against them. This is what the Northern District of Georgia U.S. Attorney's Office said in their release by the U.S. Attorney Ryan Buchanan, who sits in Atlanta. Sending death threats to a public official is a criminal offense that will not be tolerated. Our office will continue to diligently coordinate with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners to help affect and protect public officials who, while performing their duties and who deserve to do so free from threats of harm and intimidation. The head of the FBI Atlanta field office, the special agent in charge, Kerry Farley, said threats of violence against government officials specifically threaten the very fabric of our democracy. And Fani Willis took it one step further in reporting. Her comment is as follows. Willis thanked Buchanan, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia, his staff, and the FBI, and I quote from Fani Willis, for believing the life of an African-American elected official has value, and for their diligent efforts in ensuring the safety of myself, my staff, and our families. I mean, just last year, an Alabama man was also charged by a federal grand jury in making death threats against Fani Willis and other elected officials, the sheriff's office in Fulton County, again, because they had the temerity to investigate, prosecute, arrest, arraign, and try Donald Trump and 18 others for trying to overthrow democracy. If anybody thinks that this has nothing to do with Donald Trump, the fact that people are making death threats, racial attacks, doxing, swatting public officials, including Fani Willis, then they're not being fair and they're not being logical. Think about what Donald Trump does to every prosecutor who he sees as his enemy. Usually, they are black and brown or a member of a minority group. Look at what he said about Letitia James, trying to dehumanize her as the New York Attorney General, who successfully took him down and had a judge determine that he committed fraud along with his family for more than 10 years in New York in the operation of his business. He used a racial slur against Letitia James, calling her Peekaboo James, which sounds awfully close to a racial epithet. Not the first time he's done that. Alvin Bragg, who is the black Manhattan district attorney who's currently trying a case against Donald Trump with his office in the New York criminal interference case involving the Stormy Daniels payoff. Donald Trump posted a photo on social media in which he threatened to use a baseball bat to brain Alvin Bragg. Also uses terminology that makes him subhuman, that makes him others. Same thing with Fani Willis, talks about her sex life inappropriately, talks about her lovers and love affairs, also using racial tropes about Black people and their sex life. Inappropriate, dehumanizing, ways to demean and make the prosecutor, in this case, a Black woman, into the other. That gives license and permission to crackpots, crazies, unhinged, and just plain old MAGA like Mark Schultz to threaten to shoot and kill somebody like Fani Willis like a dog, right? Now we're going back to slavery, before slavery, restoration period, Reconstruction period, civil rights movement, and the like. And we have a Department of Justice that's not led ultimately by Donald Trump or one of his lackeys, like Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions, the list goes on, who does the right thing when this happens. You need to protect federal judges, even Supreme Court judges that you may disagree with. You have to protect prosecutors and defense lawyers and people that participate on a daily basis in our court system, which is a stabilizing influence in our society. Without it, without justice, you have no democracy or freedom. They go hand in glove. It's the backbone of our democracy, is an appropriately functioning criminal justice system that is led by the participants and stakeholders that I just talked about. And you need to have a Department of Justice, and at the head of the Department of Justice, an Attorney General that has the proper values to protect people like this. As I'm sure you're aware, there's a lot I have to read to keep everyone who listens to this show up to speed. Let's be honest. One thing none of us feel like reading and comparing is insurance documents. That's why I'm grateful for Policy Genius. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million in coverage. Some options have same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. I got a growing family. Finding protection that fits my life is a top priority in case disaster strikes. That's why I'm so glad I found the perfect protection for my family with Policy Genius. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through it. Their award-winning agents will guide you through the process. The best part is you can actually trust their advice since they have no incentive to recommend one insurer over another. It's truly the best experience possible. I was able to easily compare America's top insurers in a few clicks and found the best rate within minutes. Your work's life insurance may not offer you the coverage you need in a disaster, and most importantly, it does not follow you if you leave your job or get a new one. Thankfully, you know you'll always get the coverage you need, no matter what, with Policy Genius. Don't take my word for it. Policy Genius has thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers just like you, who are able to find the perfect coverage. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/legalaf or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/legalaf. Fani Willis didn't sign up for this. She ran. She's going to get reelected in November. She's the overwhelming favorite. The more they attacked her, the more the Trumpers attacked her, literally and now figuratively and now literally, the more popular she is. Her community, the Black community, Democratic community, and other thinking people are circling the wagons and protecting Fani Willis, and they should. So I got a report when things work as they should. When the FBI, that Donald Trump frequently, incessantly tries to tear down and call the enemy of the people and say that they are corrupt, do their job every day to investigate and protect public officials, including prosecutors, including state ones, not just federal. They do what's necessary to protect our country. Same with the judges. You got to protect them as well. And you need to have, it starts with a functioning, appropriate, not hollowed out morally centered Justice Department. And we have it led by Joe Biden's Justice Department, as Donald Trump likes to say, led by Merrick Garland. And we're watching it in action with the Northern District of Georgia U.S. Attorney working in hand in glove with the special agent in charge of the FBI field office in Atlanta, bringing Mark Schultz to justice. He'll be arraigned in June. We'll talk about it more on Legal AF on our podcast on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the MeidasTouch Network. You like what I'm doing? Leave me a thumbs up, a comment. Go over to the MeidasTouch Network. Look for me under playlists. You'll find me playlist or a top contributor. I don't know. I got about 1,000 hot takes like this one at the intersection of law and politics. This is where I do my exclusive work. The podcast, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. You like lawyers talking about what they know what they're talking about in courtrooms where they've been? Come to one place, MeidasTouch Legal AF. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. It helps with the ratings, if you will. It keeps me on the air. And so until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, until my next patreon.com/legalaf exclusive content. This is Michael Popak reporting. Heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.